Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to a sort of a random episode of our podcast this week. If you guys follow our podcast, it's also available on iTunes and Google Play as well as YouTube. And you can also support us on Patreon. We usually do mini podcasts and different other videos and extras on there if you want to support us on Patreon. And so yeah, I'm here with Joey in person this time. He's here visiting.
Good buddies now again. I'm just visiting.
I know. And we have Oscar, of course. He's also in person. I mean, technically we're still nearby, but he's at my house. So we figured, hey, we'll do a podcast while everyone's here. A lot of stuff has happened that we haven't talked about on the podcast, including that entire announcement that the CEO of Force Will did that included the bans. We have the new GP announcements that if you guys aren't on our Discord, if you guys are on our Discord, you sort of might know my thoughts on it.
Our Discord.
That's our Discord. But we'll get into that. And yeah, probably no ruler of the week. Maybe at the end, if we'll see how on top of it you guys are with the game. But we'll start with those main things and go from there. So yeah, both of you all, did you read the article?
I skimmed through the article. I was like, oh, okay, hitting points, still a little bit broken English, and just kind of skipped through it. But
which article is this?
This is the one the CEO wrote, sort of going over their 3 steps of improving the game, which included better communication with the players and finding out what they want, better explanation of decisions they make, including things like bans and other major decisions, and another step. It was somewhat repetitive, some of the steps, so I think one of the steps was repetitive.
Oh, did you already say announcing the person who's representing?
They're gonna, yeah, that's part of their communication effort. Is they will be hiring someone who will be communicating to the U.S. and other countries, but it sounded like U.S. was the main territory they'll be looking at as far as communicating things that the company will be doing, as well as taking in input from the community itself, because they've CEO said that they thought they were sort of closed in at the area they are in Japan and stuff like that, so they wanted to reach out more to the other communities. And yeah, so they're going to be hiring someone, and hopefully we'll hear about that soon.
Yeah, I kind of heard a lot about it, both from Colin and the Discord and everything else like that. I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, I like that they're being more transparent. If they what they say is true, and everything goes, and they've hired a good guy, then I think it's pretty cool.
Any thoughts on that? And then that sort of announcement ended with them finally officially banning Prisha, Griffin Racing Through Time, and Captain Hook. And this time they had each of the bans in a big old paragraph explaining why it was banned and all that. And so if you guys want to look into that, I briefly went over that stuff in the Force Will news from last week, as well as a link to that specific article that the CEO wrote.
Do you think that could have been influenced by this, them trying to try out the new transparency and actually talking about why are they banning these guys and actually communicating?
Yeah, because they specifically mentioned communication or explaining their actions involving bans, because I think they weren't as detailed in banning and stuff when they banned Levitine and stuff like that, I feel like. But I mean, stuff like certain things I feel like it's not as needed, because we know why you banned Levitine, but
why did they ban Reflector Frame though?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's unbanned.
So
yeah, then they unbanned it. It'd be nice.
Oh, that was the other thing. They said they're gonna really start playtesting Wanderer.
Yeah.
To make it a real format going forward.
That'd be exciting.
That is cool. So that was that. So that was pretty. I was feeling pretty excited and hopeful after that, and I was like, feeling really good about myself. And then like a day or two later is when they did the GP stuff.
The announcement itself?
They didn't announce it. So they a day or two, a couple days after that. So what happened was they actually didn't announce that they had updated stuff with their GPs.
Real quick, just to clarify, they announced the GPs, but it was just locations in general, not exact locations. Then a few days later, they did this.
They didn't announce pricing or anything like that. And then a few days later, they didn't post anything on their Facebook, which is kind of weird considering they just said they're going to communicate better. I don't know if someone just noticed it or how it came across, but their page updated for the GP dates, and it had specific locations, so obvious stuff like Richardson and different things like that. And one of the first things that was noticed is the pricing. So usually you have first place gets gold, second place gets a bronze version of whatever ruler that it is, and then third place or second place gets silver, third place gets bronze. You guys know how it is. And then top 8 gets acrylic, a version of the ruler, which is really cool. Acrylics is one of the things people like. And this time around, they're doing what looks like just an Uber, except instead of gray, it's gold. And that's it. Basically a cheaper version of the acrylic. And so they upload an actual image of it. And so people, I mean, some people kind of like it. It seems like on the whole, people aren't really digging it, especially with how unique acrylics are. And the fact that it looks like just an Uber, just a different tinted Uber, kind of makes it feel not as special, especially since we're getting Ubers in the droves from Willpower Rewards. Ubers are still cool, but it doesn't feel as special, I think, to me, just being a gold version of it, and especially knowing that it feels like they're just cutting corners.
The way I see it is, like, we still haven't heard all the pricing, right? There still could be more.
Technically they could, but we're 3 weeks away now from the first event, and the first event, I don't know if they've even announced the specific location of the first event, which is in 3 weeks.
But what I was going now is, like, metal rulers, acrylic rulers, like, I wouldn't actually play with one if I wanted one. But I got in a gold Uber version of a ruler, like the way they're showing, I'd probably more likely play with it, especially if, like, beyond pricing, there's, like, maybe cash or maybe other incentives.
If they substituted it and did that because they're adding cash, then I would prefer that over an acrylic any day. Yeah, I think that'd be the better way to go, because then you can justify spending money to fly these places and getting these gold Ubers, because you're also getting cash supplemented and stuff like that. And I disagree. I'd totally play with an acrylic, but yeah, no. And any thoughts on that, Joey?
Not too much. I mean, pricing is, I don't know. It's you have to be incentivized to get out there, and I think like money is one of the main things. And so, all right, wonderful. If they don't like, chair now. They have to have, like, I don't know, like, yes, very rare cards is, like, fine and all, but I really think that they need, to really grow the scene, you got to go with money.
Yeah, I agree, especially when we get to this next part of incentive to want to go.
Before I get to that, one last thing about those pricing rulers is they are based on the starter deck rulers, which you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Except rulers like Kirik and Rhea on this official pricing card still have their abilities sealed. So you're gonna get the super cool gold Uber thing, and it still has a sealed ability. And so you're gonna I felt like that felt like a super dumb. Like now I think that's the point where, like, I was annoyed with the thing with Rhea and having 3 different versions of her and all that before. I think this is the point where I'm super annoyed with the sealed ability mechanic. Like, I thought it was kind of cool following the story, like I could see the appeal of that, but now that it's the official pricing and it's top 8 players and it's still sealed, I think that's just dumb at that point. I mean,
just to appeal to the other part of people who disagree with you, it's cool in the way that a lot of people who may have gotten a favorite ruler since then, like Rhea, they're like, I have all these arts to pick from, I like all these arts, or these are so cool, or like the way you collected Farias for so long, making sure collecting these. And
but this is supposed to be the penultimate. They're gonna have the best, most expensive version of it, but it's not. It has the abilities still sealed. Like, I felt like if it's gonna be pricing, they should unseal the abilities for this gold version. Like the other version, like I said, I'm mildly annoyed with that, but if you're following the story, it's a pretty awesome, and if you collect stuff. But I think if this is like the card to get, like, I would be kind of annoyed, like, because I collect Farias. If I was collecting the Farias and then I went to get the Uber, and the Uber, and they're like full art, and then the Uber is the one that's full art, but it has the text box still on it and stuff like that. Like, I would be super annoyed by that, and something like that. So,
also, I know to be clarified, it was an actual picture of a printed card, right?
Yes, it's an actual. It's not so like an image where they're going to change it. Like, this is the physical card.
Even then, I'm still going to hold out that maybe that was a test copy, and we'll see the, like, unsealed ones eventually. Of course, you won't see Kirik and Shayla like you were saying, but hopefully they hold out on those further down for other GPs. And unseal them at that point.
But so that's just sort of like something that could have been, like, kind of overlooked. Like, okay, they'll do better next time once they don't do sealed abilities, and maybe they supplement with cash, and then that makes up for it and stuff like that. But the main thing, especially going back to how they're going to communicate not only with players but every decision they make and all that stuff, especially big decisions. And the fact they didn't share this on Facebook or anything, they just quietly did this. How many locations is it? 3 or 5?
I didn't actually count how many it was, but there's quite a few.
A decent amount of locations, minimum 3. One of them being freaking RGP right next to us. Not mine. The other GPs are constructed. These select few are sealed. Not draft, not constructed. They're freaking sealed. The least skilled, most, in my opinion, my least favorite format of the game is the one that will determine whether you go to Worlds in Japan, is if you happen to get good cards out of 6 packs you open.
So I have zero incentive to even want to go. I'm not even planning on going anymore. Ours was Richardson in February. Now I'm just like, whatever. But if they announced before then, like, oh, hey, we said sealed, but what we meant was it's going to be like played out like Worlds, I'd probably more likely want to go at that point, but I'd prefer it to be fully constructed.
Yeah, like New Frontiers, you just ban stuff. We don't know what the formatting is going to be now with this. There's a whole new world type of thing. You have a whole bunch of decks we can do. You have new cards coming out, new stuff to get excited about. I've been like thinking for at least, because I've been talking to Oscar, you know, I keep talking for the past couple months about like, oh, should I do this deck? I've been trying to figure out what deck I want to build for GP and getting pretty excited for it because I had fun at the last GP, but I was kind of disappointed because it was Persia OTK time. And so I was really excited to not worry about that. Even if I don't win, I get to actually play more than 10 minutes or something like that in a game. So I've been looking forward to this for a while. Huh?
What?
Nah, no, I'm not worried about that. And so then they randomly just like several of the events are just sealed, and they built these things to be for draft. So it's even weirder that they're doing sealed, even if they're trying to push draft. But like it would make sense if they had a crap ton of GP locations, like 50, 100 locations across the U.S. And they're like, oh, we have enough locations, redundant locations that are within a couple hours of each other. One's going to be sealed, one's going to be constructed. They have a grand total of 8 across the entire United States, and almost half of them are now not constructed. And it's just so, I don't know, I'm pretty upset about it. Like, the only reason I'm probably going to go to the GP still is because I want to, I think it'll be fun to meet up with DMO73 and meet like Stephanie Shaw and different things like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's pretty much my only incentive that I'm going to be going. Otherwise, especially if we didn't have this channel, I probably just straight up wouldn't go. Oh, yeah. I've like no desire to play sealed whatsoever. I'm really hoping they, like Oscar says, they're like, it's meant to be sealed for the top 8 or day 2, or maybe they were really excited because sealed is going to be a side event, but they didn't know how to put that in on the website, and there was miscommunication or something like that. I was actually really hoping there was going to be sealed and drafting side events and a main New Frontiers main event, and I was actually really hoping that I would do something like that, because that would be the coolest thing ever. But having sealed be the main thing is...
Yeah. Another cool thing, I guess, would be to go is to meet any of you who are there and maybe record games with them for the channel.
Yeah. Do I really enjoyed doing the vlog for last year's GP, so I was looking forward to filming that as well. Especially using the cool little thing again. Yeah. I haven't used that in a while.
We haven't done a lot of stuff, but we're gonna start back up. I guess we'll have a lot more videos coming up soon because we'll be going places like our local league now again. We have free time back open.
We haven't been to locals in a while.
A really long time.
So we'll have a lot of stuff which I guess we'll go over that in a little bit. But what are your thoughts on the sealed?
I hate sealed. I don't hate it. I think it's great for like beginners. Yeah.
I think pre-release is perfect for sealed.
So the thing about that I think is important to realize with sealed is that it's a beginner friendly like format. And so to me, I can understand the frame of mind, or like, you know, the idea of like, hey, like we have numbers or something that show that these GPs have like super low attendance, or like, you know, they don't really matter or whatever. So, you know, so let's do sealed to try and bring other players, like new players, into the game so that they don't feel overwhelmed for these like GPs. But even then, like that would be a dumb perspective to like do this from, and a dumb reasoning. So like, not that I agree with it. I just like, I see that could be an argument made for why you would do sealed. But But really,
if they had more events, like I said, if they had a bunch of GPs, then I think that could totally make sense. Like especially like specifically target areas that aren't selling that great in Force of Will, but are selling some. So you do an event that would attract people, but it's easy for them to access with something like Sealed. Like that would actually be a really good idea.
Because like Sealed is great. Like it's a great launching like jumping off point for a lot of players, and like it's super easy. Like you basically just need like rudimentary decks, deck making skills, and like a little bit of knowledge of what's in the format. Because it lowers the playing field down to literally just what is in like that set that they're giving you packs of. On the other hand, it's not a competitive format, and like it's just not.
And especially if they're trying to build up GPs, like who's gonna be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna buy a plane ticket, a hotel, and go to this GP in hopes that those packs I open are halfway decent, and I might have fun playing with this random deck for the entire day that I did not construct and I'm not in love with.
You cannot have a competitive event, which is what the AGP is, like in a sealed format, because sealed is not a competitive format. So it doesn't that's, in my opinion, that's like the long and short of it. Like it's not competitive. You're at a competitive event. You're going there to get either money or prizes, or go to worlds for more money, and like without like it's a tournament. It's
Well, and the other thing is like out of the two, draft is more competitive.
Yeah, exactly.
So why go with sealed? And even then, I don't think they should do draft.
Yeah, I don't do draft either.
Even that was the weird thing for me, was like draft is the more competitive of the two, and they didn't do that. But like part of the fun for me, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people, is seeing how competitive of a deck you can make on your own with either just straight up competitive, see if you can do something good, or just like find something you like and trying to make a competitive version of that. I did that in Pokemon. I was like, oh, I like Charizard. Oh, I like Rayquaza, and I made decks, and I made a halfway decent deck with Rayquaza and stuff. But it was like I had fun doing it. If I went and had to do sealed and like, I guess I'll make a fairy deck or something like that, I wouldn't have had fun. Same within here. I'm like, I really like Soul. I really like Pandas. And even if they don't do great, I'm going to have fun playing it at the GP for an entire 8-hour day or whatever it might be. If it's a deck I don't enjoy playing, I'm just going to drop out after 2 rounds, especially if I don't win those 2 rounds. There's no incentive for me to keep playing.
It doesn't reward skill played. Like, it's bad. It's bad decision. Bad all around.
I had 2 things to say. One, that means running Soul Pandas at a GP. Soul Panda deck. 2.
We'll see.
2. I actually forgot to tell y'all this, but I had a dream the other night. We were on a trip, and I woke up, or not woke up. I had this dream that I was looking on Facebook, and somebody posted like, "Oh, hey guys, GP Atlanta just happened. It's over. No IU's topped. They top 8." I was like, "Oh, nice. See, there's hope." I thought it was silly.
The other thing that sucks is there's no ARGs near us, so it's not even like we can go do an ARG instead. Which kind of bums me out, because I enjoyed the ARG as well.
I was reading. Now I'm hoping this wasn't a dream, because I get these confused. I was reading somewhere on somebody had commented asking Jim if there's going to be states again, and he said like soon or maybe or something like that. He kind of said something that made it sound like maybe there would be soon something like it, maybe. I don't know. I'll double check that, and we'll post in the comments below if I was wrong, but I thought I saw something about that.
That would be awesome. Because I really enjoy that. And it gives an avenue. It's able to fill in the gaps GPs aren't. If you wanted to experiment with something like Sealed, ARG would be the venue to do that, especially since they're working with Force of Will, not the GP where you get a paid invite. An ARG where you get an unpaid invite, that's where you do not even Sealed draft. Like I said, I still disagree with the idea of doing that the main thing, but if you want to experiment with that, that would be the place to do it, especially if states or something that's a little bit smaller of an event. But yeah, so I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
Especially even though it's kind of close to us, still would have to get a hotel and stuff. So
and drive. And
pay $20 to get barely our money's worth in packs. Cards I don't even need or want. unless I pull like a halfway decent random card or a god pack or something like that. If I don't pull an IU or something or a god pack, it pretty much
Sorry guys, I'll be right.
Okay. Pretty much not getting your money's worth, in my opinion, because I'm just adding more bulk that I can't sell. Because let's be honest, Force Will doesn't sell bulk very well. But
it's just bad all around. Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see what they do. Hopefully, if they're actually going by the points they said, as we mentioned previously, where they're communicating with players and listening to player feedback, they'll do the latter and correct the former. Did I say that right? If they're good, I forget what I said already. Let's just hope they listen to players and are like, you know what? There's time. We already waited till a month before the GPs happened to even announce their dates. So screw it. These ones that are sealed are constructed again. There's times it's not like it's a big deal to change it. So
yeah,
fingers crossed.
And I know I think somebody had said like it might be like the reason they might want to do it is like they're trying to push unsold product.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And
they were saying like it's actually a really good business move for them because they're able to sell all this 80K product that wasn't selling.
Yeah,
because of all. Alex Landon was it?
Yeah, was it him? I thought that was pretty funny, especially with the. Well, I guess we'll get into that in a sec, but.
I just like I don't see that as like an actual.
Well, yeah, I think it's a joke, but like.
Yeah,
I made me stop and think.
It was a good shot.
Especially with one thing we've noticed, especially inside of our Discord, we had a couple people who bought several boxes, and I was saying this on Facebook, like the ratios of getting the Star Deck rulers, I'm starting to think. I thought it was just like, people are getting these bad ratios and they're posting them, so like it's I forget, there's a name for it, but just like you see the negative more than positive, so it seems like it's all negative, but. Just by like seeing it, it feels like the ratios are actually skewed for the starter deck rulers over the actual IU and Wilster, especially after seeing the TCG player pricing.
Well, yeah, IU was like 25 pre-release. They with that when it released, slowly went to 30, 40, 50, and then somebody posted this morning it was 89. Right now, there's none in the store.
Is that because it's sold or they pulled it off the store?
There's no telling.
IU more like.
How you to my wallet.
I was gonna say, what's that Pokemon card that's like $90?
Shaman,
yeah.
Oh, now it's like $4.
Yeah, no, that dropped hardcore.
A full art. But Tapu Lele is up there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I can't.
That's your daily dose of Pokemon.
There's like there are Magic cards worth like.
Crop drops.
What?
Crop drops.
Sorry guys, I've been sick. Joey gave it to me.
We're all three of us are sick.
And I'm sorry I'm choking in front of you. I'll step away if I can, but.
But yeah, so I noticed the ratio is like, what'd you pull, Oscar, in your booster box?
We got Rhea, Altart, and Gil.
Rhea and Gil. And a guy bought 3 or 4 boxes in our Discord and got all-star deck rulers. If I remember right, he didn't get Wilster or IU. And I'm trying to think. I saw some Facebook posts about it and stuff, but like, it feels like it's heavily skewed for those star deck rulers. And it's flooding the market, as you guys can see. If it was actually properly balanced, it feels like... I know, obviously, the newer rulers probably sell more off of TCG Player and stuff, so that might affect it. But it wouldn't affect it at the point of it never being available, and when it's available, being like $50 to $90 and stuff like that. We've never seen a ruler... The highest we've seen was Lumia Full Art, maintained at around $35 for a decent... It might still be there. But that's the most expensive a ruler has ever maintained. And so IU...
Just laugh at you, Joey.
I know. Okay.
He's distracted with a cat for those who aren't watching on YouTube and listening.
Not this one. But yeah, so what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's interesting. Like, in defense of it, there was some people who claimed they bought a case and they opened the case amongst 6 friends, and I think they got 2 or 3 IUs out of it. So
I think I can't really get behind the whole like. Yeah, I feel like it's like confirmation bias when you're looking at these and you're like, oh man, I didn't get this, and so like a lot of other people complain if they didn't get this, but people are gonna complain if they didn't get the rulers, and they're gonna stay silent if they did get them. Is well like Welsard, the price for Welsard isn't like that high.
No,
he's not like
he's proved himself.
He's still on the
he's
shop
also,
and everything, right? So I like the argument that like, oh, IU is just jumping in price. I think that's just because people are super hyped and like they think she's the next thing next, sliced bread thing. So I don't know. I can't say if the ratios are fine, but I mean I think it's hasty to like jump to conclusions like that. I feel like it kind of spreads like bad feeling, like bad juju on people who are like, oh well, I shouldn't buy any boxes anymore, and like, well it's still trying to support the company and yada yada yada.
Well, I think it's partially. I feel like the company should. I feel like the correct way to do it would have been like each box you get one new ruler and one old ruler.
Well, yeah, and I think,
and that way, the new ruler might not have that great of value, but it'll still be decent.
You're getting one new ruler, one old ruler, but they got the alt arts and put them into the set, so they're classified as new rulers.
Exactly. Yeah, I think part of the the problem is that you can't put starter deck rulers into an actual set with like the same rarity as all the other rulers, because like it just creates this like look, people already bought their starter deck rulers. Like they don't want more starter deck rulers in their set. They don't want to pull those.
I actually would have been satisfied if it was the 3 alt arts and they didn't do the 3 reprints.
Yeah.
I understand there's some people who would like that, but I would have been completely satisfied with just 3 alt arts.
I feel like the original idea someone had would have been better if they had done the 3 alt arts in the box and the 3 regular full arts with the new abilities unsealed. They just sent to stores to give to players when they buy starter decks, so they have the unsealed version and the full art version of it. So it's something cool for the community, and it sort of makes it so people don't feel like they're getting gypped by buying a starter deck that still has the sealed ability and stuff like that. And so that would, you keep the ratios good in the booster box, and you reintroduce incentive to buy starter decks, because I would go and rebuy a starter deck I already own in order to get that ruler, because there's no incentive to rebuy starter decks like we did before, because before it was half hollow, half not, so you'd want to buy 2 starter decks to get full, and you'd have incentive to buy more because of the booster packs.
But see, the issue with that is like, and I don't know how Common Force Will is, and like if you go to like Walmart, like that's not gonna happen. Like you can't buy a starter deck and have your Walmart employee pass you out, a full.
They're not that common there yet.
I don't know, but like that's a bad business model. Like I think.
And don't forget, don't buy from Walmart. Go to your
it could have encourhed people to go locals over Walmart.
But my point being that like, that's not a way you want to like. It's not a way I would go about increasing sales or whatever.
I want to jump in real quick. I like how he said, like the idea somebody had of sending to stores when. In a previous podcast with Jeremy, that was your idea that you had that they should distribute them with.
It was someone had mentioned in passing on Facebook, and like I ran with it. But yeah, so that's that.
And then this brings up worry for the next set coming out in March, assuming we get 2 new rulers again. Kirik and Shayla unlocked, and then having Rhea with her J ruler side unlocked.
That'd just feel so bad. Like.
It's going to be the exact same thing all over again.
Yeah. Like, I don't need my starter deck Rhea. I don't need to buy 2 boxes and have 1 unsealed ability Rhea, or 2, and then go into this next one and go, well, if I pull Rhea, that's like super shitty. And it creates, like, it devalues Rhea too. Like, it's just...
Which devalues the box as a whole, which we've seen with previous boxes like a Battle for Ataraktia, where the rulers just weren't worth it. Which obviously some of the other cards were as well, but I feel like the main thing was the rulers, which devalued the entire box as a whole, and so there's the fear of that could happen. I feel like this box will be fine for the most part, mainly because of IU is going to hold it above water in the same way that Cheshire Cat did a while ago. But it's still, that's the only reason this box would hold above water. Otherwise, if it wasn't for something like that, I feel like the box as a whole is going to tank hard.
They had more, though, back then, besides the Cheshire Cat holding up the value. They had
the stones, yeah.
They had all sorts of stuff. But, where was I going to go with this? I already forget.
I think someone's throwing up.
It's just Charlie. Okay. So, but yeah.
I know now. Sorry, with this whole price hike on IU, some are saying, oh, hey, here you go, guys. Your market's finally where you want it. Others are like, no, I don't want this. I want it cheap for a cheap starting point. What do you see on that?
I think where IU is at is a little bit off on the
it's
too hard. But I like them being higher because I like actually having value when I buy my booster box or a booster pack, actually having the chance of having value in it and resale value, which will help when I want to sell bulk or collection and stuff like that. Every little bit helps. So I'm okay with the overall market going up because I think mainly because I don't buy that many singles, so maybe that's just my opinion. I prefer buying packs and booster boxes and working from there. But I think having the healthier value of the game is better, especially for local stores and stuff, to give them incentivized to buy singles and stuff.
I hate the idea of like getting locked out of playing a lot of the like best decks because you just don't have the money for it. Like something that I really disliked about Magic is like, and I know other people really like this about Magic, is that you know, you have your like staples, and then if you buy into Modern or, you know, let alone like Legacy, you know, those cards should hold your value throughout multiple years. So like it's like a one-time purchase and then you're in. But you can't
like
explore other decks either. Like in Magic, like a good Modern deck will run you like, I think, I'm just ballparking, I don't remember the exact, you know, things, but it's like $300 to $500 for Modern, and then like I don't want to pay I need a play set of like 4 of these guys, and they're $20 each. Like that's already 80, right? You need another play set of these. Like imagine if you needed for every like IU decks are gonna be like $130, $150, and like that's the cost of a standard deck in Magic. So I really like that when I was playing, and I don't really buy singles anymore, but when I was playing Force Will, like a lot of the cards were really cheap, like very, you know, very affordable. Like Cheshire Cat was like the most expensive at like $10 or like $12 or $15, and like
well, now like the staple like Severing Winds is I think like $15 a piece now.
Yeah,
and that's just almost a staple in most decks now.
And I don't know. I think that's maybe fine for like standard play, but I just hate that like it gets you locked out of like Modern and like other, like once Force Will starts maturing, and like you aren't gonna be able to get into like some of the backlog games without like a Reflector Frame who could, you know, who could jump up and, you know, Wanderer in price, or, you know, whatever cards. But I don't know. I think for me, I would rather things stay at a decent price point. Like $20-$30 for any ruler, I think is a great price, like a fine price point. Like I don't think I ever bought a ruler for less than $15, because like I think I had 0, or I bought it for like $12 or $15, and it's probably the only one I ever bought. But
yeah, I mean,
it's my opinion.
It can easily be off balance. Like you can have that healthy market, and for people getting into the game, they just need to keep making these halfway decent starter decks. Force Will has been doing a really good job with, I think, of making starter decks that aren't Pokemon starter decks, and so you can actually go to your locals and maybe not win, but you can at least like play and not feel like you're running the worst thing that's ever been created type of thing,
or buying
at minimum
one
got your money's worth.
Yeah, exactly. Like you should never buy like a Magic starter deck, because they're just all awful, and like the value of them is just tanked so low. But they're you know,
Force Will, yeah, especially certain ones.
I like
value.
that for Force Will.
So I think I mean, I don't want it to go up off the deep end. I think we're starting to get to a pretty healthy area. But I think that'd be the way to offset it. If it gets if they feel like it's going too hard, while they correct it, they just keep printing out good starter decks. Your thoughts, Oscar?
I was gone for most of this conversation.
Well, just your thoughts on the pricing.
Like what do you think of the pricing? Like
on starter decks?
No, on like how you think the pricing is going up and down.
Like is IU just way too high, or like where?
I think IU is way too high, and the thing was an accident. I'm hoping it's corrected by the second box, where it's not an issue. I'm also afraid that because of this, there may be like the way they fix a lot of the other price issues, like a promo printed of her for some reason. Like the way we have promo Severing Winds, of everything else that would get GPs just for attending.
Oh, that's true. That'd be a good way to get GPs, especially for people to attend.
But I don't know. I had one question for Joey: is if there is a GP in LA, there's supposed to be one in California somewhere, and it's reasonable for you to get to, and everything else, and like that pricing, it's reasonable pricing, you were gonna go, right? But
I am thinking a lot about it. It's just, thinking about it, like, I need to buy an entire deck.
Yeah, well, I was saying Severing Winds would be like $15 each. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd probably blow like close to, like, let's say if it's an IU deck, like, that's gonna run me like probably $150, $170. What for standard?
I mean, if it's an IU deck, you're getting one ofs, and most of the price comes from her. Everything else is like less than $1 to $1.
Okay, I mean that's still like
Severing Winds. Yeah, $15. But you're only getting one.
And her stones.
But look at like let's imagine a scenario where IU stays at 90, right? That's 90 for IU, at minimum $40 for the whole rest of the deck, because let's say each card is $1.
Yeah.
Like that's
still that's 130 plus her stones. You're looking at 140, 150.
And like if I want to play. I think if I want to play a lot of decks that I might run, like Fairer, what is Fairer right now? Like, what's his price point?
He's not that high. He's like, what, 15, 20?
Cheap, yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, that's still, like, close to, like, $100.
He's at $5
deck. Huh?
Oh, I guess 10. There's one for 10.
Okay. So, like, just the 4 copies of Severing Winds will run me $60. So, like, add on anything to that, and like you're approaching the $100 mark for its competitive standard deck. And I don't know, thinking about that, because I haven't been keeping up, I haven't been following the game, and I haven't been buying my booster boxes or trading for them. Like, I don't have Severing Winds. Like, I would probably want to play a deck that has Severing Winds.
I don't know what the pricing was on the Severing Winds, if it was like top whatever, or if it was attendance. But hey, maybe if you're lucky enough attendance, you're like, cool, got it. They give you before the tournament.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this, Joey? Because you don't usually buy booster boxes and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on, as of right now, there's no indication on whether or not we'll be getting a Vingolf 4.
Oh, right. I had heard about that. I think
you hear about it from Forceful News?
I heard about it from you. In person. But, or maybe the Discord. I don't remember. I heard about it somewhere. That's where I hear all these things. So, I think it's pretty interesting. I don't really like it. Like, they've been doing Vingolfs since, like, the beginning, and I think they've all been pretty interesting to say, at the least. Like,
Vingolf 3 was great.
I don't, I just think, like, Vingolfs are cool. Like, I don't know what they would do for this one, but I imagine it'd be kind of cool.
When someone commented that on my news where I briefly talked about Vingolf 4, and they said that was one of the things that brought them into the game was Vingolf 2, and that's how they actually got into the game, because it had all that you knew what cards you were getting, and it had all 5 colors. It wasn't a starter deck where you only got 1 color and stuff like that. And they liked that they had a bunch of stuff to pull from. Yeah, like stones, came with the dual stones and stuff like that.
Like the whole idea of it is like you can buy 2 boxes. You get a playset of everything. You used to get dual stones.
You don't get playset. You get 2 of everything.
Well, yeah, I said if you buy 2 of them,
okay, you
get a playset of all of them. But like, you know what you're getting. Like, I like the concept is really cool. Like the first one was all these like historical figures like Genghis Khan, and
it was based on a video game.
It was
based on a video game.
The first one?
Yep.
It was a Japanese phone game.
Oh.
Engage Knights.
Okay. Right. Well, anyways, so the concept of the video game was also cool. So
yeah.
Like the second one was cool because it was based off of like
Valkyrie Chronicles.
Yeah, about Valkyrie Chronicles,
until we saw the art
and an anime. Yeah, and like
the cards also.
Look, they dropped the ball with that one, but
the duels.
The idea of Vingolf
spending $15 on the dual stones was great.
And even dropped to 12 for a little bit. 11, $12 shit.
$11-12. That was a great set.
Yeah, but like the idea of Vingolf has always been great, and then like Vingolf 3
was beautiful.
I think people just liked it because of the power level in it.
Well, it's not even that. It wasn't. It was a halfway decent power level. It wasn't over the top. The dragon rulers were useful.
Sucked.
The green dragon.
Green dragon was decent.
Yeah, the green dragon was decent.
But green dragon got top 8 at Richardson.
Yeah, and like the other dragons were still.
GP, me and him went to. One of the guys who go to our locals placed the 3rd or 4th on it.
But the other dragons, it wasn't like the rulers from Vingolf 1 or 2 where you're like, toss that.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, even if it's not that great, take it out. Melissa made a deck with it. I made a deck with it just for fun. I didn't feel like I was wasting time making a deck with it. It was still fun to do, especially for at your locals.
That's some cool abilities.
A lot of the cards were unique, even the ones that weren't that great. It was like, oh, this is at least a kind of interesting card to use. So it had stuff like that. The art, having every card be full art was a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
All the art was great. Having your favorites come back, like I was like, oh,
see,
Sylvia,
that was
that's so
cool.
cool.
I like the reprints.
Shitstones were interesting. I like the shitstones. I know other people didn't, but I liked them.
Shitstones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, reprints. They did great reprints, and it was full art reprints. So it's like, oh, this is cool.
Corner Dark Alice, stuff like that.
It was a great set. I really enjoyed, and it came in a cool, super badass case that was magnetic, and you open it. It was a nice material.
Nice.
I still use it to store my cards.
Yeah. So it just seems like with all this, like Vingolf 3
and it sold out. It was great for them.
Vingolf 3 was like, seems like they knocked it out of the park. So why are they not doing Vingolf 4?
Yeah. Like my only thought would be maybe they're going back to licensing video games, and they're having trouble on the licensing end. They don't want a repeat of Valkyrie Chronicles where I assume the company just sends them the art and they just send them a pixelated flower. They don't want a repeat of that, and they liked it when it was in-house with the 3, so they're trying to figure stuff out. Because last we heard Vingolf 4 was going to be based on a property again.
Yeah.
So maybe they ran into licensing issues. Maybe they're trying to get Ruby. I don't know. That would be cool. But
he has been sending things out. Like they have that game coming out, so they license to a company to do the game.
Hashtag you guys should hashtag Rooster Teeth. Be like, talk to Force Will, get a Vingolf going. That'd be badass. God, I would buy the crap out of that.
They do pay attention to Twitter. I'm sure they'd see it.
Yeah, I would buy so many boxes.
I would buy that too. Yeah. Like
that's cool, yeah, because then it'd be fun. We'd be building Ruby decks out of it. I mean, like, one of our favorite characters from it.
Yeah, I would like. All right, let's do like not. I guess it wouldn't be drafting, but like Vingolf only battles. I'd be down for that. Like, oh, you can only use Ruby villains and stuff like that. I guess you could probably do the same with the other ones, but no one gives a shit about the other games.
So just to entertain the thought of it, let's assume each one is a ruler. Who would be the fifth?
That's true. Well, there's 4 of them.
Yeah. You can just do 4 rulers.
No, you gotta do 5.
Yeah.
I feel like
we're missing. So we have water, darkness, fire, and light.
So we need green. Green, I feel like would be like I want to say a teacher, but I'm trying to think of a teacher that was exclusive to them. Maybe Ugla, whatever his name is, that took him on that trip.
I mean, it depends on, I think, like thematically.
What about bad guys? Is there a green bad guy that could be?
It could be each. Well, because there's only 5 rulers though. Yeah, it'd have to be someone big. Because I was gonna say, it could be like one of the maidens, and then you have a group of 4 rulers, a maiden. Group of 4 rulers, a different maiden, but it's 5 rulers total.
Let us know who y'all think.
Yeah,
if y'all
who you guys think the 5th ruler would be on that?
You know, I would actually like to see not the main girls being rulers and being like a bunch of random characters. So you get a crow.
Or like the girl on one side, and when it flips, it's someone like Ruby, and the other side is her mom.
Like my thing though is like you need them as rulers because you could also get like
Scythe as a
exactly,
weapon,
like you can flip, and then and then you can play like Ruby's a Scythe edition, or
yeah, and you can have a Grim deck, which is just like flooding the field with a bunch of 1/1 tokens and stuff that are Grim. And
all right, well, I'm sure there's people who don't want to Ruby.
We're fanficking. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's about, we're about to come into the end here, but. So yeah, I mean, I know that seems kind of negative on the company, most of that, but like, I mean, I'm still loving the game and stuff. I'm pretty upset about the GP. I'll be honest. That's on the company.
Yeah, I mean, definitely voicing it out, assuming they hear feedback and all that, and they want to do better things, like they said in their article.
They've been doing such a good job.
Feedback,
Yeah, I feel like ever since the new cluster started, power level, with the exception of like a couple cards, in my opinion, but overall, like they've fixed the power level. They fixed a lot of the ratios. They fixed the money stuff for reselling, the full art hollows. They fixed the ratios for instead of having 3 versions of cards, it's down just to 2. They've like, I feel like everything's been an improvement. The booster boxes being storage containers, like they've thought of all these tiny things And then it came to this big thing where everyone's like, all right, they fixed this too. It's going to be all new frontiers. There might be cash pricing. It's going to be this whole thing where they fixed it. And I feel like they dropped the ball when they were on such a good roll. Yeah. So, we'll see.
But for the rest of the week, because this is coming out Thursday, we're filming it on Tuesday. No, Monday. Today's Monday, right? New Year's.
Is it coming out Thursday?
It's coming out Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to come out tomorrow.
It's coming out tomorrow.
But we're filming this on Monday. I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm used to filming Thursday, just releasing Tuesday. But anyways, we'll have some cool videos coming up.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I was going to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just say we were working on stuff like I mentioned before in the news. I've been, like you guys might have seen, I have new titles I made. I got to make a title for this podcast. No, I did. We'll see if it's attached to this. If it's not, it's coming. But I'm going through making titles, sort of making everything pretty. Hopefully be doing more vlogs because we'll be going to our locals, which will also, by extension, mean we might be doing more physical gameplay rather than lackey, which is what we prefer to do. We don't prefer to do lackey, but it's just by necessity.
It's not my fault.
More deck profiles. I have a lot of decks we want to go over. We have a cool deck that we got from
Right, Lily.
Was it?
Wow, he contacted you.
Yeah. I was trying to remember who it was from. It's been a while. So we'll have some gameplay of that. It's a Welser deck. So
pretty cool. I liked it.
It's pretty. I really like it. Yeah.
But you guys had drafted Unstable.
Yeah, we drafted Magic Unstable, so that'll be out later this week.
Well. So that'll be a fun one of.
Sort of random one.
Yeah.
Maybe Joey will have more Eternal gameplay.
Yeah. There's a new set out last week, but I've been here. Packs. Yeah.
With the holidays, everybody's been everywhere doing stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why you haven't seen the videos in quite a few days.
We've been away. Yeah. Yep. We just got back today, actually, a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
That's why he's here.
Mm-hmm.
He went from being really far away to being as close as you as he could be.
Yeah.
No, that's not good. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
Bye.
Oh, my leg hurts so bad.